Welcome to the course, The Art and Science of Self-Application. This course is all about moving you past mediocrity in the workplace. It's a commonplace phenomenon that mediocrity is fast eating up into different spheres of our lives, and the workplace includes one of those places. You see, the truth is, as far as mediocrity is concerned, um, there is a saying that goes thus: there's a bridge between mediocrity and excellence. Um, all you have to do is to cross it to the other side. So the question is, what do you want? What side of this two divides do you belong to between mediocrity, mediocrity, and mediocrity and excellence? So that is what we'll be talking about in this course. And the first thing we need to look at will be for us to consider a quote. And here is the quote. It says, "Shoddiness is a killer of opportunities. Averageness is a route that doesn't go beyond half, and plied by every other human that has refused not to be exceptional." There are some keywords here I want us to pay attention to. It says that shoddiness, I believe that we all know the meaning of shoddiness, is a killer of opportunities. We all know what opportunity stands for, and we're all familiar with the word averageness. And at the end of the day, we're being told here that averageness, being average, being wanting to deliver average outcomes and results, is a route that doesn't go beyond half, applied by every other human being. So when you have most of us, if you have a lot of us, we always ply the path of averageness. And what happens is that majority of us, when we ply the path of averageness, we refuse to be exceptional. So at the end of the day, whatever we do as a people, we have others also watching. You'll be surprised that even in the midst of those who we can attribute as shoddy as we are, they wouldn't want to get a shoddy person into their team or into a project they are responsible for. So everybody's watching out for their own interest, and everybody, I mean, it's very easy for you to differentiate between excellence and a shoddy work or mediocrity, as the case may be. So this quote will give us guidance as far as this course is concerned. Before we go further in this course, there's something I want us to look into. It's called the cult of mediocrity. The cult of mediocrity. The cult of mediocrity looks like a bell curve, and let's quickly look at it. So you have it like this. You have your line. Don't mind my straight line, like that. Your bell curve would typically look like that. You have this. You have this. So here you have the cult of mediocrity, or mediocres, mediocrity. Here you have these guys here. You have world class, and here you have terrible performance or terrible performance. Now, the funny thing is that here, as far as this weighting is concerned, here is 5%. Here you have 5% as well, and here you have the entire 90%. So majority of us in the workplace find ourselves here in the cult of mediocrity, while 5% of us in the workplace belong to the world class. These are the people who have found a way to say no to shoddiness or to being a mediocre, While here, you have those who are just terrible in their own ways and approach to work. So as an individual, if we are saying that majority of us are found in the cult of mediocrity, which is here, I think we hold it as a responsibility for every one of us to move from this point into this point, moving from the cult of mediocrity into the world class. And for those who find themselves as terrible performers and who want to make a difference in their life and also propel their growth within organization, it is very important that they sit up and see how they can move into this common group, and the end goal should be moving on from here to here. So this is what the cult of mediocrity looks like. This is a bell curve, and when you do it, you have majority in the middle. So this gives us a snapshot of where we tend to belong to in the workplace. So the question to you will be, where do you belong as a person? So you need to answer that question. While you ponder on that question, I think it would be nice for us to look at on-the-job mediocrity so that we can bring it home. So when it comes to on-the-job mediocrity, this gives us an example of what we are dealing with. If you look at what we have here, I mean, it's called the paving stone. You look at what has been done as far as this sequence of tiling of the stones are concerned. Then you look at the error committed at this point. Somebody saw this, or whoever was working on this saw this. It is easier for that person to have stopped and correct these abnormalities. But majority of us in the workplace will see errors, and for one reason or the other, for reasons best known to us, we just decide to move on. Which is not ideal. The second picture here, picture number 2, talks about anything outside my job description is not my job description. Now, this is a wrong mentality in the workplace. We have people who feel if my job is to move something from point A to point B, whatever happens in between point A and point B is not my business, and that shouldn't be the case. And our experience has also now shown us that, or what we see on ground has shown us that some organizations have now gotten to the point whereby they rather not want to give out job descriptions to people. But again, job descriptions are very, very essential when it comes to career management and people owning their career within organization. So as an individual, you need to work on your mindset whereby you should be willing to take on responsibilities beyond your job description. We are not saying that go encroach into other people's job, but where you find that the balls are being dropped, you can always get to point to those areas so that for the good of the team, everybody wins. Another on the job mediocrity that is so common is habitual late coming to work. Some people are just habitual late comers for no good reason. They just don't see reason why they need to be at their desk as at when required, forgetting that as far as the workplace is concerned, it is a function of input and output. What some of us occupy portfolios or are responsible for jobs whereby our output serves as input for some. So if you don't give what is required or produce what is required on time, or you are not at your desk on time, then it might negatively impact those who depend on you, on your output for their own input. Maintaining, so we have the fourth one here, which says maintaining status quo is a preferred way. This is also not the right mentality to adopt in the workplace as an individual, for the fact that this is how we've been doing things does not mean that this is how it should continue to be. That is a wrong mentality. That is not what we should be doing. If we talk about innovation nowadays, innovation is all about opening up your mind to new things. Creativity is all about thinking of new ways of getting things done. But if you are so boxed up into how we've been doing it for several years, is how we'll continue to do it. Now, what you're doing at that point in time is that you're setting up yourself. You're setting up yourself because you're telling the managers of the business that, hey, whatever direction or new direction you guys are thinking of, whatever new ways or new strategies you guys are bringing on board, I am not going to be part of it. And what that means is that very soon somebody will have to show you the door. So it's not the right mentality. This is as similar as what we have in number one, wall of shame. I mean, look at the tiling. It's so straight from this point upwards, but somebody somewhere just decided to mess it up at this point. This is what mediocrity is all about. You just use one tile to mess up your entire work. Then the last of this on the job mediocrity is I'm only looking out for the last payday. Now, this is a big problem in the workplace. It is a big problem. So people come to work and all they want to come and do is to mark their register. Day one, I am there. Day two, I'm here. Day three, I'm here. Oh, how's today's work? Oh, we've marked the register, and come the 25th of the month, my salary is expected in my account. But the question you need to ask yourself is that, have I really added value to the business within this period of attendance in the workplace? So these are some of the snapshots of on-the-job mediocrity in the workplace. Let's quickly look at real life cases of the practice of mediocrity in the workplace. So meet Okon and Akpos. Akpos and Okon are staffs of XYB. Okon and Akpos are staff of XYB Bank. They are staff of XYB Bank. Now, what happened? Something happened. A customer decides to dial in. A customer who is the king, as we all know, we say customer is king, decides to dial into XYB Bank, and Okon picks the call. Another customer from somewhere dials in, and Akpos picks the call. Now, the fact is, these two customers are requesting for the same information. Because of recent, the bank just released a new product, and this product is one of 35 products that the bank just released. Now, the customers who just called in concerning a particular product, and they just want to understand how to go about subscribing to that product or for that product. So this is how these two individuals decided to handle their customers. What Okon did was to just pick a very big document of over 200 pages and decides to just push it back to the customer to say, Mr. Customer, please, this is a document for our product. You can find details of the product in between page 50 and 80. That is all. Now, while Okon Akpos got the call, all he did was to go into this same document of 200 pages, and he went to page 50 to 80 and decided that, okay, the best thing to help my customer is to distill the things that speaks directly to the product. and he presented it in such a way that it attended to the questions that the customer was asking and pushed it back to the customer. Now, the question to us is, amongst these two, who is a mediocre? Who has done a shoddy job? Amongst these two, who is likely to be the fastest and the quickest to sign up a customer on behalf of XY Bank? So this is an example of mediocrity in the workplace that we need to be very, very careful of. Mediocrity cuts across a lot of things. It cuts across a lot of things. I'll give you an example on same Okon and Akpos. Now, for these two as well, a task was given to them by their supervisor, Mr. James. The two of them belong to our members of the department for research, marketing research. I just call it marketing research. Now, the task is very simple. Please go online, do a research of a particular initiative that we are interested in, crunch the numbers, do your analysis, and then present to me. So, Okon goes online, does everything that needs to be done, and got facts, got figures, showed trends, went to his Excel, did everything, and just packed everything and presented it on a PPT, a PowerPoint, for those of us who are not familiar with PowerPoint. Now, Akpos went online, did the same thing, did trends analysis, did everything. And you remember that when you go online, when you go for data, those data were kept there or were saved there by some individuals or a body of knowledge. So he identified those body of knowledge, the individuals and the sites for the purpose of referencing. Now, he also went to Excel, did the crunching of the numbers, and then got clean tables. At the point of rendering his report, he decided to also use the PowerPoint. Now, for him, he picked everything and ensured that he obeyed the rules of clean presentation. He was able to follow through on thoroughness, attention to details, alignment, and many other things. And at the end of the day, he presented a very clean report. Now, when you look at the report that Okon presented, it was so obvious that what he did was to visit different sites, copied literatures and text, and just decided to just load it on the PowerPoint and brought his Excel tables and inserted it on his PowerPoint. So if you have a closer look into what Okon had done, you will discover that you will see different font styles. You will see different font sizes. Alignment was zero. It was just not giving his best. And that is what moving away from mediocrity is all about. Because what you want to do is ensure that you move from the court of mediocres. Remember the horseshoe. You want to move from this point into world class. And you can never move from this point into world class by doing all of these things that you can see yourself. Because what we see in the workplace is that some people just churning results or churning outcomes or tasks, and they know that they didn't really put the best of themselves in those tasks. So if you consider the dual of Okon and Akpos, who amongst these people are you likely to hand over serious tasks to, and you know that you can go to sleep as a supervisor? Obviously, it's going to be Akpos. So this is a lesson and a learning to every one of us to take tasks and expectations seriously. no matter how small a task might look like, you have to give it your all. So in order for us to move from the court of mediocrity, from the court of mediocrity, move from this middle point to world class, what are the habits that we need to break? So in talking about the habits that we need to break, let's quickly look at a diagram that would provide us with quick direction. So it looks like this. All right. We break it into different parts. For instance, we can do this. We can do this. So we have three parts. 1, 2, 3. So in here are those who belong to I know, but I don't care. I don't care mediocrity. And in here you will have I don't know mediocrity. I don't know mediocrity. And here you have I have stopped being concerned. I have stopped being concerned mediocrity. So just this is I know but I don't care. Here is I don't know mediocrity, and here is I have stopped being concerned mediocrity. So now when it comes to I know but I don't care mediocrity, for them uninspiring is good enough. I mean, when I'm not inspired, so for them here uninspiring is good enough. Perfection never exists, so why do I try? I mean, at the end of the day, if it's not possible to be perfect, so why should I even kill myself for perfection? Uh, it's actually not my problem. So not my problem. When it's not my problem, so why should I even worry myself? Perfection does not exist. No perfection. So why kill yourself over what is not? Vilification of those above the crowd. I mean, at the end of the day, they will vilify those above the crowd. So what's the biggies? So when you go to I don't know, there's a possibility of what do you call it? There's a possibility of self self-deception in obvious poor quality. So what this means is that you just want to deceive yourself because your results or your task, outcome of your task is result is so poor. So there is self-deception in obvious poor quality for these people. Status quo is king, change is enemy. They just want to remain the way it is. So for them, they just want to maintain this facade that they don't know, when it's so obvious that they are deceiving themselves. While you have I have stopped being concerned. So this is where you have a lot of people who perhaps started differently, but over a period of time just decided that, you know what, I've had enough. So what you typically would get from them is I have to join them. It is the way here. So for instance, you join an organization as a new hire, and in course of joining the organization, I mean, you're all pumped up, you want to come and make some amends, some changes because you've seen things, and you start the process. But along the line, you just feel that this you just get frustrated, and it becomes so obvious that it seems this is how they do things, and just because of your frustration, you decide that, you know what, instead of killing myself, why don't just I join them? It is the way here, so why kill yourself over it? So there's something I would like us to know here, that you see, you need to beware of the lollipop of mediocrity. If you lick it once, you will suck forever. Beware of the lollipop of mediocrity, because if you lick it once, you will suck forever. Very, very important. So You need to be very wary of these three quadrants, which is I know but I don't care, I don't know, self-deceit. So there's a possibility of you not knowing, but in reality you know that actually I don't know. And when you don't know, you make efforts to want to know. But there are some people who would say I don't know, and because of that they don't even care. But in the real sense, they know, but it's just a function of self-deception. Status quo is king for them. Change is enemy. While I have stopped being concerned over a period of time, they stop being concerned and they just want to join the old people. So if you look closely, you will discover that all of these people are seated in the cult of mediocrity. This is the cult of mediocres, mediocrity. So let's look at the 5 ultimate steps to self-application, because all of these things is all about applying yourself. See, the truth is, when it comes to the great staff or employees within organization, beyond the technical abilities of getting things done, one other simple secret that is out there that makes them different from those within this cult of mediocres is the principles of self-applications. And we'll look at the ultimate steps to self-applications, or self-application rather. So when it comes to self-application, 5 things are very, very important. Number one of this thing will be self-purge. Self-purge. Number 2 will be self-standardization. Number 3 will be self-driver. Number 4 will be self-mirroring. Okay, spelling is correct. And number 5 will be self-recognition. So we'll take this 5 one after the other. So the first one we'll need to discuss will be self-purge. So there's something I want us to use as the point for discussing self-purge. Self-purging. It says, tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. Seek the truth. Seek the truth myself. I act. So here is more like, tell me the truth. I hear you. But when I seek the truth myself, I will act upon it. So more often than not, when you tell people the truth about them, there's this likelihood that they really might not take you seriously, because they've not gotten to the point whereby they want to know the truth and they want to make amends. Because for every human being created, we've got weaknesses. I mean, if you come across someone that tells you that, oh, I don't have any weakness, then you know that you're talking to a greater being, one who is already perfect. And the last time I checked, we don't have any perfect human being. So as an individual, you need to take time out, just like our gentleman here is doing, to self-purge yourself. Ask yourself questions. Am I adequate with my task, my approach to work? Am I giving my all? Do I apply myself when I have to get things done? So you need to purge yourself. It is when you purge yourself that things will be unraveled to you, and you can decide to take actions in checking some of those setbacks. Remember, the objective here is to move you away from the cult of mediocrity into world class, from this point to this point. So first thing you want to do is to purge yourself. The next thing we will talk about is self self driver. Self driver. Simply I need to self propel regardless of challenges. Context, and let's say environment, and environment. Well, context and environment could mean the same thing, but again, I mean, we get the gist. I need to self-propel regardless of challenges, context, and environment. What this simply means is that you don't get fade out, you don't get tired, you don't you just you don't give up, because you've been able to self-purge yourself, you've been able to create standards for yourself. You need to drive yourself. Who better drives you than yourself? Because the truth is, sometimes you find people talk about, oh, the company is really not training me, this, etc. That. I'm not saying the company should not train the workforce. But as an individual within the workplace, you owe it upon yourself to own your development. You own it upon yourself to be exceptionally different. You own it upon yourself to drive for excellence. You own it upon yourself to move from the court of mediocrity into world class. So, because in this group you have quite a lot of heads, a lot of human beings there, and the only way you can move away from there is to own it yourself, to self-drive yourself, to self-propel yourself. Because at the end of the day, it is what we can say of you in terms of how well we can put our trust in your deliverables, in your capacity, that would make us want to give you more responsibility, or that will make anybody want to connect with you for the purpose of a common good. So you need to self-drive yourself. The next thing we'll be talking about will be self-mirroring. So self-recognition, self-recognition, recognition. So all you need to do, you need to pop to being uncommon. This is the celebration move. For every milestone in your crave for excellence should get self-recognized. So as far as the milestones are concerned, you need to you need to celebrate your little wins. So for an individual within the workplace who wants to be excellent, and wants to consciously move away from the cult of mediocres, for every little gain you make on your journey, on your path to world class, you need to pop the champagne. You need to enjoy that fruit of beautiful champagne, Dom Perignon, or whatever it is. So self-recognition is very, very important. So the ways to ensure that you drive self-application towards exiting the cult of mediocre is simply that you apply yourself. And the easiest way to getting yourself applied is, first and foremost, you self-purge, you create standard for yourself. I mean, there are things that my name will not go on. So because my name will need to be on it, then it has to be excellent. You need to drive yourself because nobody's going to drive you. You own it to yourself. You need to mirror others that live excellence, others who already belong to the world class. Because you don't want to mirror someone who is still with you, a member of the court of mediocres, or top mistake when you go and mirror someone who is poor performance, or who find themselves here. So mirror someone who is in world class, and for every little win, you celebrate yourself. So I'm going to leave you with a quote, which is, it says that mediocrity and excellence are both noticeable, and that's a statement of fact. Mediocrity and excellence are both noticeable. See it, and excellence are both noticeable. Just that one is common and smells awful. The other, though uncommon, but the common acknowledges it and would want to relate with it. Did you get that? It says that though uncommon, but the common acknowledges it and would want to relate with it. The common acknowledges it. The common acknowledges it and would want to relate with it. Let's go back to our cult of mediocrity. Our cult of mediocrity. This is the cult of mediocrity in the middle here. CM, the cult of mediocrity. This is where you have the common. So the common acknowledges world class and they want to relate with it. Did you get that? So whatever it is, mediocrity or excellence, mediocrity is common and it smells awful, while excellence is uncommon. But those who are perpetrators of mediocrity, those who can be tagged as mediocres, or those who find themselves in the cult of mediocrity, in the middle of our bell curve, acknowledges excellence and wants to relate with it. So at the end of the day, for you as an individual in the workplace, whichever your choice is, they are both banked by the observers for future references. What does that mean? Meaning that the observers, even within the cult of mediocrity, within world class and poor performers are watching and they are saving it in their bank. Because at the end of the day, when there is need for some decisions, some recommendations, trust me, the court of mediocres, who perhaps would have an interest in whatever it is that is to be handled, will not recommend a fellow mediocre, to be a part of that, but will rather look towards world class. So I'm going to leave you with this quote. Whatever it is that you want, you need to decide here, mediocrity or excellence. But remember, one is uncommon, one is common. The one that is uncommon, even the common want to relate with it. So I'll encourage you to sit down and rethink yourself and see how well you can apply yourself in the workplace. So there are other courses that you can also enjoy on femiojomo.com. How to carry out strategic workforce planning. It's a DIY, do it yourself. How to implement the balance scorecard is also there. So I wish you the very best in your career. Thank you.